Hey friends, we are in the 2015 Classroom in a Book, Adobe Illustrator CC, Lesson 14, using Illustrator CC with other Adobe applications. So, when you open your files, you may have had missing fonts and you may have had to sync them. Mine took quite some time to sync them, so keep that in mind that you do have to sync your files, your fonts. So it's going to take a minute with Typekit. But once you've done that, you're going to open up the start file and rename it as greenisle.ai. And what we're doing here with this lesson is really putting JPEGs and PSDs in Adobe Illustrator, which is really fun. All Illustrator processes talk to each other, which is really cool. You can open up your Adobe Illustrator files in Premiere, After Effects, Bridge, InDesign. You can open up in Lightroom, but I don't suggest it, in Photoshop, and etc. And these programs know how to work with those files. So we're on page 404, placing an image. So we're going to make sure we're on the Pictures sublayer, and we're going to do a file place. If you played around with the image trace before, this should be pretty similar. Place, and we're looking, it's in the images file, and looking for the kayak.jpg, and we're going to click the link button and keep everything unchecked. And we're going to click place. And notice your cursor is kind of loaded full of text. Loaded up, it wants to place it somewhere. So we're going to place our loaded cursor with the thumbnail into the upper left hand corner, and the image is going to still be selected. When it appears in the artboard, we can see our control panel changes to, it's a linked file. This is the name of the file, CMYK color space. The PPI, the DPI is 94. That's actually a very low DPI. You should never do anything at 94 DPI in Illustrator. Embed, edit original, image trace, etc. So there's some other options that we can have play around with. So what we're going to do next is scaling a placed image. So holding down the Shift key with our selection tool, I'm going to drag the lower right bounding box into the measurement point, and you want to make sure your smart guides are about 5 inches for the width. You hold down Shift to constrain proportions. And if it's not quite, you can just kind of zoom in. There we go. And once you realize, you notice the PPI is actually increased because it kind of rearranges those pixels. So we're going to click the linked file text link, which is in orange up here, and it kind of gives, actually, the kind of opens up this box, and we're going to toggle down and gives us some information. Let us know that it is linked. You can see that it's scaled, percentages, it's been rotated in the dimensions, PPI, etc. All the information is there. We're going to select and deselect, and we're going to do placing a Photoshop image with show import options. So a Photoshop, a PSD, if you're unfamiliar, is just like an Illustrator file that has different layers and shapes and stuff. And the PSD is Photoshop's version of the AI file. So we are going to hide the contents of the pictures layer and click on background. We are going to go to File, Place. We're looking for the lilypads.pst. And all of these options, we're going to deselect link and make sure show import options is selected. And it's going to actually pull up this box over here for more information. For layer comp, we want to select it to all. Show preview selected. We want to make it convert layers to objects to have all those layers and import hidden layers. The bottom of page 407 gives you a lot of information for this little dialog box. So we're going to click OK. Notice our cursor is loaded up. We're going to position the loaded graphics cursor in the upper left-hand corner where it says intersect, place it, and it's going to place this kind of lily pad information there. In the layers panel, we're going to kind of open up and we're going to click the locate object button. Kind of pulls that information up. And you notice since it isn't flattened, there's different layers, and we can actually kind of deselect and select other information. So with this color, the screen, we're going to deselect the cursor, which has these lily pads and a nice gradient. We're going to deselect and do a Command S. The next part is we're going to be placing multiple images. So we placed one before, now we're going to do two. So we're going to do File, Place again. And we're actually cancel that first. We're going to hide this disclosure and do text and picture image up, but still be selected on the background. Now we're going to go to File, Place. And we're going to hold down Control Command to click both the water.jpg and the text.psd. And I held down the Control or Command key to select two at the same time. And we're going to make sure the link and the show options is not selected. Now we're going to click Place. Notice our cursor has a 1 out of 2 because there's two different files that are going to be placed. We're going to position the loaded graphics cursor on the left side of the artboard. Press the upper. If you do your up and down arrow keys, you can cycle between them. Whatever one's showing in the graphics cursor will be placed. So what we're going to do is we are going to place the water one, and I'm just doing my up and down arrow keys. And I'm going to click the left edge of the artboard halfway down to place the image. Right here should be good. And we can kind of move things around too. And then I'm going to press and hold this space bar and drag it to the left to the area so we can see the right side. Let's do something funny. So over here, we're going to press and hold the space bar. Oh, that's just getting us to the hand tool. Position the loaded graphic, the next one, which is the green thing, off to the right side of the artboard. Click and drag down, stopping to roughly as big as we see in the figure on page 410. So kind of placed it there. You can either place an image at 100% and click and drag to place it at a very specific size. Once again, we can see the PPI and how it changes. The original was 150 of this. Now it is 118. And if you're printing, it should always be 300 or higher. So with the text PSD image, the image of the green leaf still selected, Drag the selected art indicator, the color box, and the layers panel to move the image to the text layer. So we're going to toggle down background. It says text there. And we're just going to move this to the text layer to reorder. The next, on page 410, we're applying color edits to an image. In the layers panel, we are going to hide the pictures and the text layers. And with the selection tool, we're going to make sure we're selected on the lilypads.psd. And if I need to, right there. And we're going to do an edit colors, adjust color balance. And you actually may have to get on the actual layer right there. So it's not letting me do that. Okay, so I selected it with my selection tool. I thought I could just select it over there. And we're going to click preview, and you see you can click and drag the sliders to really play around. Now this isn't really, the best way to do adjustments, but if you're doing little ones, you can do them here in Illustrator. The book has the following values of C5, M25 by 10, black 0. Feel free to play around with yourself to see how you like it. And we're going to click OK. We're going to select deselect, and we are going, in the layers panel, we're going to show the text and pictures and hide the background contents. We're going to do a Command S, and we're going to be done with this video, and I'll see you for the next one.